indexed universal life. So it is a life insurance policy, but we do not typically sell it for the benefit of life insurance. We sell it for the benefit of savings. Now, I've got a lot of young people in here, so how many of you have ever thought, before you ever heard anything about IUL, how many of you thought, I would like to save for retirement, so I think I'll buy a life insurance policy? No, nobody ever thinks that. Like, that is not a thought anyone, I don't think, has ever had in their mind. So that's why it's important that we talk to people, because people do not know the benefit of buying life insurance to save for retirement. But for the right person, which is typically younger, healthier people, it is an awesome way to save for retirement. So think of it like a life insurance policy with a savings account built into it. So all wrapped up in one, we've got life insurance, we've got a savings account. Now here's how, and this is basically what I do when you book appointments with me and I'm explaining this to someone. How many of you, several of you in here, you work a job. Do any of you have 401ks at your jobs? Any 401ks? Okay, so you have 401ks. Are you putting any money in the 401k? No. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. So let's talk a little bit. 401ks are one of the most common ways people are going to start saving for retirement. Anybody in there here ever had a 401k, put money in a 401k? Yeah, you guys are smarter than me. The ones of you that haven't done that yet. So here's basically the difference. So these are buckets. Now you know why I do insurance and not art. We're going to call this one tax deferred, and I may have spelled that wrong, and we're going to call this one tax free. So this is like a 401k. There's multiple things that could be in this bucket: traditional IRA, 401k. So here's how that works. When you put money in a 401k, you don't have to pay tax on that money when it goes income tax. You don't have to pay that when it goes in that bucket. As the money's growing over time, you don't have to pay tax on that money. However, once you've filled this bucket up and you're ready to retire, what do you think might happen when you start taking money out of that bucket in retirement?
Tax.
Exactly. That's the deferred part. They're letting you put money in and not be taxed. They're letting that money grow and not be taxed, but it's eventually going to get taxed. And it's going to get taxed when you start taking it out in retirement. Now, do you think income taxes are more likely to go up or down in the future?
Up.
Up, yeah, I agree. So here's the difference in the tax-free bucket. When you put money in this bucket, it's going to be after tax. This is your income that you get. You've already paid taxes on it. That goes in the bucket. This is what we call paying tax on the seed. This is what we call paying tax on the harvest. How many of you would rather pay tax on the seed versus the harvest? Exactly. Like, I know very little about farming. I am not a farmer, Wayne, but I know the difference between a seed and a harvest. Yeah. And I'd rather pay tax on the seed because you're paying tax on a little bit of money, like each month, what you're putting in, at what you just said is probably going to be a lower income tax rate versus paying tax on the harvest at a higher income tax rate. Does that make sense? Okay. So tax-free bucket, we put money in, it's already been taxed, it's going to grow, you're not going to get taxed on that growth. We'll talk about how in a minute. The awesome thing about this bucket is when you take money out in retirement, it is 100% tax-free. So you've got the option of 100% taxable, or you've got the option of 100% tax-free. Which option do you want?
Tax-free.
Exactly. If somebody says, well, I'll just stay over here, like, pack up, you're talking to the wrong person. Yeah. Don't even try to convince them this is a good idea. If they're like, I'd rather pay taxes, Uncle Sam's my favorite uncle, I just wanna give him half of my retirement money, and be like, all right, you have a nice day. But most people are gonna tell you, yeah, I'd rather have the tax-free side. Okay, so you want tax-free income. Next, oh, yes,
One question that I've been getting recently on IULs is whenever you take a loan against it, would that be a penalty or would it be, how would that work?
yeah, so no, it's not penalty, and we can talk about that in just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, great question. So the next question people usually have when they're saving for retirement is how is the money gonna grow, right? It's like, if I'm putting my money in something for retirement, how's it gonna grow? So, there's 3 things your money can do. It can increase, it can stay the same, or it can decrease. Do we agree? Those are the 3 options, like it can't do anything else. Now, if you could eliminate one of the 3, which one would you eliminate?
Go down.
Exactly, the going down part. That's what this tax-free bucket is going to do. Have you ever lost any money in your 401k?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember the time my 401k became a 201k. Yeah, lost half of it, twice. So we're gonna eliminate the downside. The way this money is gonna grow is the company is gonna watch the market and the stock market, and they're gonna pay you interest based on what the stock market does, but they're not gonna put your money, Benny, in the stock market. They're just gonna watch it. If it goes down, you're not gonna lose any money. If it goes up, you're gonna earn. Now, there are going to be some maximums on what you can earn on that upside. And that's the trade-off for the fact that they're protecting you from any losses in the market. Does that make sense? Everybody understands that. They know they can't have it both ways. You can't get all the gains and none of the losses. So when you explain it like that, they always say, yeah, that makes sense. So it's like, okay, so we're gonna give you tax-free money. We're gonna protect your money from losses in the market. We're still gonna give you gains when the market goes up. Now, how much are you gonna earn in the future? I wish I knew. Like, I would be really rich if I knew what the stock market was gonna do in the future, right? I don't know what it's gonna do in the future, but I do know what it's done in the past. And I know that they return about 7 to 9% on average per year in this type of product. Now that's an average, meaning some years it'll be higher, some years it'll be lower, but about 7, 8, 9% per year. And I know what it's done the last several years, number 1, because the insurance companies tell us, but number 2, because I own these personally. And I have for 12 years, and I can tell you, I'm getting right along that average of 7, 8, 9% per year. Some years more, some years less, but it averages out. Now, I don't know what it's gonna do in the future, but that's kind of what the gains look like, just to give you an idea. Now, do you think that's a pretty fair gain, considering you're never gonna lose any money in the market?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, how do I give you all these things? This sounds pretty good, right? Tax-free money, no risk in the market, good gains. You can access the money anytime you want for whatever you want. The way you can do that is through life insurance. And it's a benefit of life insurance that very few people even know exists. And I say that every single time, because at this point, they're thinking, if this is so awesome, why haven't I heard about it, right? Why isn't everybody doing this if it's so great? Well, I just squashed that objection because I just told them hardly anyone knows this exists. So then they're like, in their mind, they're thinking, oh, well, that's why I haven't heard about it. Hardly anybody knows about this. And it's true. Hardly anyone knows that you can do this in life insurance. And then I explained it's a life insurance policy with a savings account in it. You can put extra money into life insurance, certain types of life insurance, like an IUL. You can just pay extra money in there. That's not buying any life insurance, it's just going into this little savings account within your policy that's not losing money in the market and earning good returns. And then because that cash is within a life insurance policy, you can access it 100% tax-free because of the fact that it's in life insurance. And that's what people don't understand. Now, having said all of that, how many of you are like, yeah, that sounds like a pretty good idea to buy life insurance to save for retirement? Exactly. So we have to show them the benefits of what this can do for them first, and then tell them how they get the benefits. Because if you start off with, I got this great life insurance policy for you to save for retirement, how far do you think that's going to get you? No, people are going to be like, I don't want to buy life insurance, I want to save for retirement.
Yeah.
But when you show them the benefits, and then they're like, oh wow, so I can do that in life insurance. Yeah, this sounds like a pretty good idea. So I've done hundreds